Hi guys, welcome to the Cotton and Kanthal Show, episode 4. This is Vape and Juice TV, and we're back. Sorry for the little delay in the last week or so. Been a bit tied up and recovering from our jet lag. You probably saw it in our last episode. We had about as much momentum as Theresa May. So how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate.
Good.
So let's, without further ado, let's actually just you'll notice a snazzy bin next to Fred. This is our new initiative. Like we care about. We started our business in Southend-on-Sea, so we're a coastal-based business. Not all the time, but we are predominantly where we started, and we care about our local waters and our local towns. We used to have a blue flag in the town. That's gone because I think there's too many condoms and horseshoes in the water, rusty horseshoes. So we're doing a little initiative. One of the biggest problems that we all know from TPD is the change from having big bottles of nicotine-based e-liquid to a plethora of tiny little 10ml bottles. There's loads of them, and there's no provision in the TPD Act for recyclable containers or non-plastic products, which is a real problem, I think, in the long term, because they're worried about children are going to eat them. And it's a big concern of everyone's. So we thought, look, if people come and bring their plastic bottles back in store, we'll give them a couple of points. Points mean pounds. We've put points on their loyalty card, and they can use them in store for liquids. And it's not just Vape and Juice customers. If you bought e-liquid bottles and you've got the lid still from any vape company in the UK or abroad, bring them into our shops, and we'll give you a little rewards card, and we'll give you an amount of points based on the size of the bottle, and those points translate to money, so you can use them on liquids. So we're not going to go, hey, you got your liquids from Vape or somewhere else. Just bring them in. We'll help you out. You're helping the environment, and we want to say thank you. So these little bins you'll see in our Vape and Juice stores, they're rather snazzily designed, and they're waiting for your e-liquid bottles with the lids.
It's been going really well as well. We've done like 2,500 so far.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
2,500 bottles no longer going in the stomachs of cod. So I don't think you even have cod anymore around here. We've got like, was it flounder or cory or eel?
Eel.
Yeah, crab, just probably.
Lots of crab.
I remember that when I was younger, you had a fish and chip shop and you'd get cod and chips. And these days it's a sort of fake cloned cod.
Cloned cod.
I'll have cloned cod and chips twice, please. Fine. Okay. Anyway, without further ado, what's going on in the vaping news world?
So I was actually astounded to see how many of the
astounded.
Good
use of the word astounded.
It's a good.
Fred's got word of the day toilet paper. So he's trying to use this word more often today.
But yeah, I was astounded to see how many of the previously independent vaping companies were now owned by big tobacco brands.
Go on. Like
so one for. I remember a liquid you might remember from a few years ago is Cosmic Fog.
Yep.
So that has been...
Who owns them?
Imperial Brands PLC.
No way!
They've been snagged.
Big tobacco!
They're in there.
Cosmic Fog. Maybe that's why you don't see Cosmic Fog anymore.
I know. Well, they've got their short fills out. They've been around for a little while, but there's only one.
They were. Sorry, I'm trying to grow a beard out. It's really itchy me. So you'll see me constantly scratch my face. I can't grow this fine sort of beard. Look at this. He uses beard oil. Do you use beard oil?
No, on occasion.
Pop down to the shoe shine man, polish your shoes.
It's one of the things.
Oil's your beard. See them everywhere now. He's popping up. They're like mobile phone case shops. Beard oil men.
Beard oil.
Can't move for them. Because I used to see Cosmic Fog everywhere. They were one of the first really interesting premium flavours. They weren't the cheapest, and I haven't really heard from them for a long time.
No, I first tried them in one of the Example box, and that was around.
I got one of them box,
and that was really good.
What they did though, they changed the S for a Z.
Yeah,
so it's completely different.
Example box.
Yeah.
But they were big then, and then they were doing quite well.
Milk and honey.
Milk and honey, yeah.
And
you had was it Shocker, Kryptonite,
yeah.
A few other ones.
Little point. Do you think the reason why you see less of them now is because they were there's so many competitive kind of liquids now? They're not the only ones out there. I remember the early days you'd go into a shop that had premium range and it was your basic lines and then your Cosmic Fog, and everyone used to ask, have you got milk and honey or nuts?
Yeah.
As the other one. But there seems to be an awful lot of those types. There's tons of milk and honeys and man milks, and Greeny Heath did one. Man milk was very popular.
Yep.
But I do see less of them. So they're owned by Imperial Brands.
I think part of it is where the American liquids to import are naturally going to be more expensive, but there's so much really well priced, really nice juice.
Yeah.
Around now.
It's not just American juice now, is it?
No, it's not. But you've got Vapor Shark have also been picked up as well.
As in the guys who make the hardware?
Yeah.
Okay.
That device.
Who owns them?
I did have it. Let me have a look.
That's a really niche product to go towards. Because you don't. I mean, Vapor Shark is a fantastic product. They did a lot of DNA mods, but not everyone's got a Vapor Shark mod in their pocket.
But they were they also got into shops as well, and they were franchising out, and yeah, they've been picked up by Standard Diversified, which is a subsidiary of somebody else.
Do your research first before you come onto a podcast. A little tip for anyone doing a podcast at home.
But you've got Vivid as well, owned by Philip Morris. Vape, it's British American Tobacco.
Yeah. Tobacco companies have historically failed in this industry. They produce some of the early cigalikes. A lot of people who have their first experience with an e-cigarette is often with a Vape or is with a tobacco company owned product. But they stuck with hardware rather than try to do liquids, and the real growth in this industry does seem to be the liquid side of things.
Yeah.
You might buy a cigarette first to go, hey, and then you see someone who's got a much better device. You go down to a vape shop and you see this massive range of e-liquids out there, and I thought, why are they not getting involved in that area? So that's
rather than making more of their own, it seems to be they're just looking to acquire existing companies. I'm not too sure how Cosmic Fog are doing as of late. You don't see much of them anymore.
I don't see much of them at all, to be fair. Even when I go abroad, so you see perhaps some brands that we're quite an advanced e-liquid industry in the UK. I think we're quite lucky. We've got such a broad range of e-liquids. While TPD has been frustrating, we've got a fairly liberal attitude towards vaping. I think Boris Johnson mentioned his speech this week, saying about how the EU try to cause problems with it. So we're quite lucky there, and we have had it's flourished, and so you don't see them anymore. But I don't even see them when I go over in Spain, for example.
No.
Pop into shops there, don't really see Cosmic Fog. So
maybe that's why.
Yeah, everyone hates big tobacco.
Next up, we've seen more and more juice brands are releasing concentrates of their popular juice ranges.
Like the one shots.
They are, yeah, kind of, but they're not like you see some companies are releasing these where you've got like a litre bottle concentrate, fill it up with whatever you want to do with it. They're just selling like the way we sell our own concentrates in a 30ml bottle.
Yeah.
More and more companies are doing that for this. As in a one shot. So IVG have just brought theirs out, and you mix them sort of 15-20% like normal.
So it's just the flavouring.
Just the flavouring.
So it's basically okay. So it's ready-made recipe. You add your VG, you add your PG.
Yeah.
Add your nicotine. We sell one shots. We sell flavour concentrates. If you do want to make your own e-liquid, you can check us out on vapeandjuice.com. Go to juices and then go to DIY.
Definitely.
But okay, good. I know Vampire Vapes did that for a while back, didn't they? They did their own because obviously they got. I mean, they're Pinkman, they're Heisenberg, incredibly popular liquids.
Yeah.
Been around for a long time, and I know they say they've been doing that. They're one of the first to do that, I think, really.
Yeah.
And say, look, we're not afraid for someone to make a version of our liquid, as long as they're making our liquid.
Definitely.
So that's.
But the one that really caught my eye was so we had Fizzy and IVG. They brought out theirs, and you mix them at 15-20%. But you've got a juice company called Horny, and they're like a Malaysian icy fruit style ones.
Really bad bottles that leak everywhere.
Bad bottles that leak everywhere. But their concentrates, they're releasing them in a 30ml bottle, but you mix them at 50%. So what you do is you take your 30ml bottle of Horny concentrate.
Right.
You add 10ml of VG.
Right.
And then you add you add 20ml of VG, and then you add a nick shot. So what they've done is they've taken the short fill concept and made it wildly more inconvenient. Yeah,
and probably more expensive as well, because they're not just selling the flavouring; they're trying to sell the whole idea of a flavour. I mean, how much are they? Have you seen how much these goes for?
So they're going for around 11.99, 12 quid, depending on where you pick them up from.
That's a lot of money for 30ml of flavouring.
I mean, I suppose all you need, like VG's cheap, and then you've got a nick shot, which again, so it's probably going to be. But as far as
basically, you're ultimately getting for the same price a bottle of Horny.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just make a short fill?
Yeah, but they do.
What's the point of this?
I don't know. Like the other one makes sense. Like IVGs, for example, you mix it 15-20%. So
I can't imagine. That just seems stupid.
Yeah.
Because you're basically that 30ml bottle is going to give you one bottle of liquid.
60ml bottle. Of
right.
liquid.
So whereas normally when you get a bottle of flavour concentrate, you can make a number of different bottles. Yeah. So it works. It's much more. It's even more. I mean, e-liquids. I mean, everyone goes, "Oh, e-liquids are expensive." They're not expensive when you compare to how much money people spend on cigarettes. But flavouring concentrates make things even cheaper. But if you can only make it once, why don't you just do the whole thing except for the nick shot? That's just nuts.
The only tangible benefit I can see is that customers who want 6 milligram can now get it because they can add 2 nick shots rather than one.
But that's only really if the flavouring has been made such to allow it. Because this is the thing, isn't it? Is when we first started making our short fills, we made sure they were over flavoured to counter for the fact that you're going to put a nick shot in it, which is going to be flavourless. I don't know if everyone still does that. I don't know if when you try a zero, if you're going to get a zero liquid that's going to be really primarily nick shotted, it needs to have more flavouring in it.
Yeah.
I know probably a lot of companies are still knocking out zero with no extra flavouring, which in theory means it's weaker tasting than it would do. I can't work out the benefit of that unless they're hugely over flavouring it. And these are a lot of sweeteners. Horny used to kill your coils. I remember that was one of the two problems I found with Horny from customer interaction we'd have in the stores. One, the bottles would leak, which we'd find out as well sometimes because when we get sent them, they would be leaking. And the second was that they were really, really sweet, very sweetened, and they would just destroy coils in a matter of days. It would become a very expensive liquid to vape.
Yeah, so they're the three ones we've actually seen kicking around: Horny, Fizzy, and IVG.
Okay. All right. So what's going on? What else? So basically, it's some of them are doing it right, and Horny continues to do it badly.
Yeah, I don't know whether maybe that was the issue with why they kill the coils is because maybe they do mix at 50% concentrates, which is why they are so sweet, so flavourful.
I guess, yeah, that'd be harsh to give them a tough time if that was the reason.
If that's what the original mix is, yeah.
But I don't get the idea that you'd have to have a separate bottle. It just seems messy for something that's not really going to make you any particular saving.
You'd think, fine, sell it as a concentrate, but at least put it in a normal sized bottle so that it makes it easier.
So you can do it.
Yeah, so you can fill it up the way you want.
Well, that's how the one shots were, don't they? They'd give you a big bottle
with
a small amount of concentrate in it, and then you just add it all in there, and at the end of it, you've got one big bottle of e-juice.
Definitely.
Which you can then decant. But this you can't. So
no, it's just like with
epic fail from Horny. Right, what else is in the world of vaping?
World of vaping. So there's obviously it's Stoptober now, so we're seeing wider acceptance now that vaping is one of the most effective forms of.
Well, it's public. So the IBVTA, they're the independent brands of vape trade association. They're the ones who have partnered with Public Health England to do the Stoptober campaign, or the official Stoptober campaign. And that's we said this before. It's in the last few years. It's gone from being Stoptober would be all about nicotine patches, Champex pills, nightmare pills, and gum. And you are now seeing that kind of acceptance that vaping is a perfectly plausible way to get yourself off cigarettes. We see a lot of it in October every year. I'm surprised it does very well. I haven't seen it on the news so much, but then I think I watch less TV. I watch more things like Netflix and things.
Yeah.
So you see less of the adverts. But a few years ago, when that wasn't such the case, you would certainly see a lot of Stoptober adverts, and you'd see it had a positive effect. People were definitely coming into the back of it. So anything that can help people get off the stinkies is a great thing in my idea.
Definitely. Well, they've created a new app now. So if you've got anybody who you're looking to help quit, you can get them to download the app. And it will just show them exactly how much they're saving as well, which is always a keen.
Or the old cigarette saving calculator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this one's on an app and it calculates it sort of like day by day.
It looks pretty years.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. That was one of the key features that every website had in the vape game about 4 or 5 years ago. Was we must get a savings calculator on there.
And then you've got like DIY juice calculators and all that sort of stuff. But again, you don't really.
Then you go and buy a DNA mod and it just completely ruins it.
But yeah, so then we've obviously got our in-store promotion as well.
Yeah, so we mentioned it last time. We do it a couple of times a year, but for Stoptober we do a spend £75 and you get a £25 voucher to spend next time you're in store. So if you're coming in and buying your first kit, first proper kit for the first time, the sort of X30 kit, box of coils, a whole bunch of liquids, is going to set you up for months and months. And then you come back in next time and you don't pay for your coils and your liquids again. And I think for a lot of people, when they first come in, they go, 50, 60, 70 quid's a lot of money to spend on a vape kit. But I always say to them, how much money do you spend per week on smoking and cigarettes? And if you can spend in one day what you spend in that sounds bad. If you can spend in one day what you spend in a week in cigarettes, then you're up. If you can buy the equipment and the liquids to keep you going for 3 months or so, what you'd spend in a week in cigarettes, and that's no bad thing at all. And that proves well. So if you're if you're near one of our stores, check out our store location on vapeandjuice.com. See if there's a store near you. If you're recommending a friend to quit smoking and start vaping, send them down to our store. When they spend £70 or more, they get a £25 voucher to use next time they're in store. So they're set for a long time, and they've certainly got. I think that's the thing as well. Is the early sort of ego kits, the £10 kits, they were great for finding out if the whole vape concept can work for you.
Yeah.
But you'd snap them, they'd break. People would come back in the early days when we used to sell a lot of those. People would come in and they'd buy one. Yeah, that works perfect. They'd come back in and they'd buy 4 of them or 5 of them because they'd break them. Whereas now, you invest a little bit of money in a decent kit, and you're more likely to stick at it as well.
Definitely. And then the cost for maintaining that, rather than buying ego batteries all the time and C4s, you can just buy a coil. And that's it.
Well, it's the battery life as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's the battery life and the vaping experience is pretty. But the old plastic clearomisers,
Yeah.
it's just I think we sell so few of them now, but we used to sell tons of them because they were the thing. I remember when people used to hack the clearomisers. Do you remember seeing this with you actually? And people would put like a custom coil in this. So you'd make a sub-ohm clearomiser.
I used to do it with the old Kanthal dual coils and the single coil ones. You just pull the little top off, you wrap your own coil, and chuck it in there.
Yeah, not the easiest thing to work on though, are they?
Super fiddly.
Yeah, tiniest build deck in the world.
But we used to have loads of customers coming in Canterbury who bought those, and then they'd get us to.
Well, they pay like £10 for those sort of things. Those the premium clearomisers.
Yeah.
They pay a lot of money for just a clearomiser. I should have a competition for that. See if you can build on a clearomiser. That should be for we've got the launch of Doozy Vape soon, which is their new, not the launch of it, but the launch of their new salt range. That's on the 13th
of October.
13th of October at Southend High Street store. A launch in conjunction with Doozy. They've got the cameras down, filming that. Discounts all day. That we have competitions when we do these events, often like cloud competitions, strip competitions. That should be our next one.
Should be the new one.
Can you build a coil on a clearomiser?
Rebuild an old Pro Tank one.
And
coil.
if you get lucky, you win a box of clearomisers.
But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, Doozy Salts launch on Saturday 13th. So they've got a brand new range of Nick salts. They're covering all sort of flavour bases. You've got desserts, tobaccos, menthols, fruity ones. So yeah,
nice.
It
was a good range, Doozy. If you haven't checked out Doozy before, they've got a fantastically broad range of liquids, say desserts, menthols, fruits. There's 15 in their short fill line, isn't there?
Yeah.
And they're great. We come across them. We used to stock them in the box 3x10 form, and they just weren't shifting. And they're a great team there. I rang them up. We're trying to clear the stock down one day. I thought, how can we get rid of this? And I was trying them, and I was like, hey, these are pretty good. So we put them in testers. And I rang up Doozy themselves. I said, look, your liquids are really good, but your packaging's not all that, and it's inhibiting your sales. They said, well, look, we've got some new designs. What do you think of them? And they brought them out. They've done fantastically well, and fair play to them. Fair play to them for listening to feedback as well, which is a rarity. So they deserve all the credit they get.
Definitely. Last one for today is the FDA are considering a ban on online sales for vaping products in the US.
I saw this, and didn't they raided Juul as well?
Well, they're saying that's what a lot of news outlets are reporting, that it was a raid, and then a lot of people are also saying, well, it's just a routine inspection.
Just nose around.
Yeah, just having a look.
Well, they're really anti this idea that they're selling products for kids.
Yeah, again.
To be fair to Juul, give them their credit, if you want to sell Juul products online in the UK from them directly, you have to have a really strict sort of sign up for over 18 checking. So it's part of their policy. So they're getting a bit of a tough ride, really. I think we said this last week. Driving around San Francisco, there's adverts on the side of buses that say, with a picture of a Juul saying, "This is not a flash drive. Campaign to stop flavoured e-liquids." I've no idea what a flash drive's got to do with flavoured e-liquids. It's a very mixed message, really. It was a confused message. Doesn't make any sense. But they have this bee in their bonnet that Juul devices are encouraging kids vaping. But that's the ethical question: is there's always going to be the next generation of people who want to smoke. Definitely. There's always going to be people who do something that's anti-authority. So your mum and dad tell you not to do something, you do something. That's not changed. Benson and Hedges weren't advertising to kids when I was at school and we were smoking behind the tennis courts. It was for a completely different reason. It was the perception of cool. And I know for many years, I'm sure vapers will disagree with me sometimes, but we get called being a bit nerdy sometimes, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. It's a bit of technology, a bit nerdy. I wouldn't say vaping in kids' eyes is the coolest thing in the world.
No. If anything, there's a lot. You see loads of memes where they're taking the mick out of people for doing it.
I get it all the time. I get inboxes from friends saying vapors be like, and it's I just get abused. How cool to kids is a smoking cessation device?
not that cool, is it? Harm
Nothing
reduction is
says
not
cool
usually-
like a nicotine patch, kids. So they're getting a tough time. And if they get rid of Juul, what's going to happen? People are just going to keep
Yeah.
smoking, or the new generation of kids who are going to smoke rather than vape. Yeah, we don't want kids to be doing any of these things to avoid all addictions, but it's what's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. I think they're catching flack because they've got a product to sell as well.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it,
Yeah,
out there?
that's why
they created their own verb, dueling. You
Yeah.
know, so and just today I answered the web chat at times, and I've had a couple of questions today already about Juul. They've really reinvigorated the pod market, I suppose, in some sections. In America, it's different because you can vape a 50 mg nic salt. You can't do that in the UK. So and I say I still have issues that they're not refillable pods. They're quite wasteful, and they're not the best pod system out there. I love this. This is the Nautilus AIO. You saw me vaping the other week. It's online on our website, vapeandjuice.com. Nautilus AIO. It's a cracking system. The pod comes out like this. There you go. That's your pod. Adjustable airflow. It's refillable. It doesn't less like it's a snap because it's more square.
Nautilus coils as well.
Nautilus coils. We all know them. They're tried and tested. They've been around for years now. That to me is a cracking pod device.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get the flack for it.
Definitely.
But fine, okay. So
Right.
that's the end of your news there.
That's it.
That's cool.
all the news.
I hope we've been a bit more upbeat this week. Thanks for watching. We've got another Cotton and Kanthal episode next week. Stay tuned. Follow us on Vape and Juice TV, YouTube. Subscribe and hit the bell button.